Yo, YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to the Jonathan Hassinger Show. I, of course, am your host, John Hassinger, for this out-of-theater reaction to Blue Beetle, starring Xolo Maridueña, George Lopez, Susan Sarandon, and it's the first character from James Gunn's new DCU, but not the first movie from the DCU. So, not everything that we see in this movie we will, necessarily carry over to James Gunn's new DC cinematic universe, known as the DCU. All right, so this movie, to get the negatives out of the way, is it paint by numbers superhero origin story? Absolutely. Does it have a lot of Spider-Man, Iron Man, Ant-Man similarities? Yes. Does it have, we are talking paint by numbers hero's journey, where as it was happening, I've never been more aware of the steps along the hero's journey happening to Blue Beetle. Was it predictable? Yes. Was the villain basically a different colored version of the hero? Yes. But did they do all those things well? Yes. And slightly in a different way we haven't seen before? Yes. Did they nail the authentic Mexican kind of culture that is Jaime Reyes and his family? 100%. And before I go on, I always loved George Lopez's stand-up because I felt like he would use Mexican slang that I didn't necessarily, it's not that I didn't understand it, but I had never heard it before. And because of the way he used it, I then understood it. And so I felt like casting him and having him involved in this movie was a really wise move, just to kind of up that authentic Latin American tone, vibe, whatever you want to call it. And the really cool thing is, something I noticed while I was watching the movie, because while I'm watching it, two things are going on in my head. One thing is, this is fun. I'm enjoying this movie. There's never been a lull, but it's also just like so predictable, and I feel like I've seen it 100 times. Pardon me. And then I remembered it's because I had no expectations. About a month before Blue Beetle came out, all the geniuses at the daily trades were saying low expectations for James Gunn's Blue Beetle, even though it's not James Gunn's movie. He had nothing to do with this movie. But all the early brainiac journalists were saying expectations are low. So and my theater was sold out. I actually had to move to the handicap section where no one was sitting. I didn't sit in a handicap spot. You can't do that. But there are seats with blank spaces next to them. And about 10 minutes into the movie, all right, here's a sidebar. This is what happened outside me watching the movie. But of course, this happened 10 minutes into the movie. And not a big Mexican family. Another big group of family members came in 10 minutes late and sat in my row. And, when I looked at the tickets, I made sure I had 3 empty seats next to me. That's my rule. I need 3 empty seats. And they all came all the way down right into the seat next to me where I had my popcorn. As if I was, maybe waiting for someone else to join me. So I got right up. And I was like, no, because they were like, I think the youngest was like 3, and then the oldest was like 11, and there were like 7 of them, and a mom who just didn't give a you knew she was going to be on her phone the whole time. So I got right up, moved down to the handicap section, sat there for like 5-10 minutes, then realized the luxury dining was open, even though I only paid for a regular seat. Hopped up and sat in one of those luxuries. They're the best. They've got the little wall around the 2 seats. It's great. So anyway, and I'm not sure why I got off on that tangent. The bad guy, the villain, Carapetti, I feel like I'm saying that wrong. But I mean, Susan Sarandon is the villain, and she was Ted Kord's old partner. Ted Kord is the original Blue Beetle, but the Scarab never bonded with him, but apparently he made like a lot of tech with the help of the Scarab. That's kind of what I picked up. Spoilers. The post-credit scene. I feel like that has James Gunn written all over it. It didn't feel like it was part of the movie. I mean, it did, but it took this really fun turn where the rest of that movie didn't flirt with any of that stuff. This movie was so easy to follow. I heard a lot of people complain about the first 20 minutes. I appreciated the first 20 minutes, just simplicity, that you understood Jenny Kord knew that Susan Sarandon's character was messing with the Beetle, the Scarab, and gonna do something really bad with it. She was gonna try to steal it, and then right when she got caught, she saw Jaime there and just handed it off to him and was like, just don't open it, guard it with your life. I know you have a crush on me. And then of course his family made him open it, and a bunch of them held it, and then he held it and it like turned on, came to life. And so the mid-credit scene, spoiler alert, they're in the old Ted Kord Blue Beetle's, like, I don't even know, his Beetle cave. He's like, your dad's stuff's like Batman, but with ADHD, which is amazing. Blue Beetle's the first comic book I ever owned. I didn't even know who he was. He wasn't even on the cover. It's a mid-credit scene. They're in the Beetle cave and the camera's just kind of floating through, which definitely makes me feel like it's James Gunn. And all the electronics start to turn back on, and then one just starts skipping. And it starts, like a song starts skipping. And all of a sudden you hear a voice coming through the screen. Hey, does this work? Is this working? Is this working? Jenny? Someone get this message to my daughter, Jenny Kord. Tell her father, Ted Kord is still alive. And it ends on like his old costume. So that's the mid-credit scene. I know there's a post-credit scene once all the names are shown. Didn't stay to watch it because I wanted to get the hell out of there. And I'll probably watch New Rockstar's breakdown of the post-credit scene. Post-credit scene, due to Emergency Awesome, good old Charlie there, spoiling yet again with his thumbnails. I have a feeling it has to do with Green Lantern, but I don't know. I'll go find out. If you saw Blue Beetle, let me know what you think. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Like I said, paint by numbers superhero, but done in a way we haven't seen yet, with a with a twist, with a flair. So I definitely recommend it. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next week. I gotta go.